Art is a truly global language that can change our perceptions about the world we live in. In our lineup today, dancing to heal in India, creating an underwater vision in America, and cartoons with a conscience in Gaza. Hello and welcome to Artsworld. I'm Sana Hamouche. I'm here in Tunis, the capital of Tunisia, to meet a woman whose art put her country on the map. Sadiqa Kamoun is in the Guinness Book of Records for creating the world's biggest chandelier. But at home, she's credited with breathing new life into an ancient craft.
I live in Carthage, and one day I realized that I had no idea about how the ancient Carthaginians had discovered glassblowing, although they're famous for introducing this art to Tunisia.
Tunisian artist Sadiqa has over the past 2 decades single-handedly revived the ancient art of glassblowing in her country. Today she lives in Tunis, close to the ruins of the ancient city of Carthage. The Tunisian capital is well known for its artistic heritage, but while arts and crafts flourish in its rich souks, glassblowing had become a lost art.
I was studying ceramics at the School of Fine Arts in Tunis, but after seeing a film about the glassblowing techniques which disappeared in the 14th century, I found glassblowing to be closer to my heart.
Around the year 50 BC, the blowpipe was invented, which revolutionized the art of glassblowing. Now air could be forced down the pipe onto the molten glass at the other end, which could then be manipulated into different shapes and sizes.
The first blown glass came into being during the 1st century after the birth of Christ in the Syrian-Palestinian area.
From this area came the seafaring Phoenicians, who migrated from the eastern Mediterranean coast and established the art of glassmaking in what is today Tunisia.
During this period of history, glass was the diamond of its time. The crowns of kings and rulers were decorated with pieces of glass. Glass was rare, difficult to make, and highly coveted. After the glassblowing industry spread, glass was used more widely, as drinking utensils, as vases, as decorations. It became a common household item. The Arabs improved and developed this craft by adding gold, calligraphy, and design. Some of the most beautiful glasswork in history was produced at this time.
Sadiqa's interest in this glassblowing heritage was honed in Italy during her graduate studies in fine art.
I was the first woman glassblower in all of Moreno. Every morning on the way to the furnace, they tried to send me to the designers section. Then one day they gave up trying. They realized I was determined to become a glassblower. It was crazy. We would blow glass for 9 to 10 hours a day until we fainted.
When Sadiqa returned to Tunisia, she managed to get a small bank loan to open her own studio.
It took me a year to build my kiln. In the early days, I had a client who wanted a glass vase with a touch of silver. I had no money, so I sold my silver earrings and made a vase with a silver lining.
Sadiqa's friend Fawzia has long championed Tunisian artists, first at a local bank where she facilitated small loans to artists, and later at the Tunisian Ministry of Culture, where she played a central role in promoting Sadiqa's art.
Sadiqa is special, not only because she practices the art of glass blowing, but because of her historic and scientific research on the subject.
You learn through observation. First of all, you need to understand that it's like ballet. You have to move your entire body while glass blowing. At first, I found it very hard. The material is attractive to me because it's so transparent and fragile, and it's both feminine and masculine at the same time.
Sadiqa has turned part of her workshop into a museum to showcase her art.
At first, it was strange for people. They had forgotten this art and came to see what it was that I was doing. After 25 years of glassblowing, I've reached a stage where I want my designs to be art pieces in their own right. Not practical tools, glasses or vases or chandeliers, but independent pieces of art. This is why, in many ways, I feel the glass cubes are a high point in my career. They're not practical items, but art for art's sake.
Does dance have the power to heal? Indian dancer Sohini Chakraborty believes so. 12 years ago, she created the dance group Therapy to help victims of violence and trafficking. Her group has helped hundreds of women to dance their way to a better life.
Nasima's early. There's a lot to be done before the training session begins. Here at the Max Muller Bhavan Auditorium in India's eastern metropolis, Kolkata, Nasima meets dance therapist Sohini Chakraborty for a workshop based on Indian contemporary dance. But this is no ordinary class. For Nasima and her fellow dancers, it is an opportunity to heal wounds from a violent past. The participants belong to a unique dance group called Kolkata Sanved that uses dance movement therapy for the rehabilitation of victims of trafficking, abuse and exploitation. And this is just one of the many classes that Sanved organizes across India. Dance movement therapy was virtually unheard of in India in the late 90s. It was back then that classical dancer and sociology student Sohini Chakraborty began conducting classes at a shelter for trafficked women and children. Each participant had a story of violence and trauma buried within them. Disenfranchised from their bodies and emotions and shunned by society, they had lost their self-worth and confidence. But they hadn't lost the will to dance.
It's spontaneous, that's why it's dance and movement. Dance itself is very powerful tool for like open up your emotion and expression.
Immersed in the joy of dancing, Sohini students began to open up and use the workshops as a safe space to express themselves. No longer cloistered by the counselor-client divide of conventional psychotherapy, they began to articulate their feelings in a variety of non-verbal ways. The success of the initial classes led Sohini to launch the Sanved project in 2004. Its aim, to use dance movement therapy as a means of counseling and consoling. It also sought to identify rehabilitated individuals from its workshops who could be trained to become dance therapists themselves. Sanved's dance philosophy emphasizes free-flowing movement, which encourages dancers to tune into their bodies. The idea is that this helps bolster self-confidence so that the participants shed their notions of being victims. The group also uses techniques from traditional Indian dance forms, while the geometric shapes of the Bharatnatyam dance form improves mind-body coordination. The soft and graceful moves of Manipuri dance calm the mind. In the 4 years since Sanved began, it has expanded from single-center workshops to national and international programs for victims of trafficking and violence, homeless children, and mental health and HIV/AIDS patients. But perhaps Sanved's greatest triumph shines through examples like Nasima, who joined the group as a troubled student. Over the years, she has danced the distance from victim to creative artist.
I feel very good about myself because I'm working and live independently in a hostel. I pay my own rent. I teach, I have my group of students. I don't need to depend on anyone. I am the master of my own destiny.
As the Sunway troupe steps out of the wings, the dancers take their rightful place in the spotlight. This is their stage. This is their time. The curtain has only just gone up.
We take a short break now, but when we return, we meet an artist who's making waves out of an unusual theme park. And we follow a cartoonist in Gaza who keeps challenging the censors.